eat it. I took 4 capsules at one time. They were size 0 capsules, approximately 0.20 grams in a size 0 capsule. So, about every 3-4 hours, I ate another 4 capsules. 3-4 hours later, I ate another 4 capsules. So about 12 hours later, I ate about 16 of these capsules, and I started to get the heebie-jeebies. And what I started to realize, I went into withdrawal because I hadn't taken any of my narcotics, because at that time, you were talking about a couple Percocets. I was on 120 milligrams of OxyContin, 110 milligrams of morphine, 120 milligram fentanyl patch. I was chewing 20 to 30 Tylenol number 4 a day, 2,000 milligrams of metformin for my, and I was going on the needle now because nothing for my diabetes was working. I was on 5 blood pressure medications, on half a dozen cholesterol medications, and nothing was working because the body does not know what synthetics are. End of story. So it's like margarine. Margarine is one molecule off of plastic. So you see what happened? The sugar industry pointed its finger at the fat industry and said, you guys have a problem. So everybody removed fat out of their diets. Margarine was brought in. So this is now what happened. This is why we now have the outbreak of dementia and Alzheimer's, because the fats make everything bioavailable to the cells. They need that to communicate. So when you start to put this all together, we're farmed like sheep. I mean, I went home, I did my homework, I started to ingest this plant. And in 30 days I was off the oxy, the next 30 days I was off the morphine, the next 30 days I was off the fentanyl patch, and the next 3 months I was off every single medication I was on. And I wasn't trying to get off the meds. I was in so much pain, and I never threw up again. From the first time I took the cannabis, I never vomited again, and I haven't been sick since. So you see, cannabis treats your immune system. I haven't had a flu or a cold now in 9 years. I grow for a young lady that has MS for 14 years. She hasn't had a flu or a cold. I have a 7-piece band. One of my band members is one of the first 700 people in Canada that had a section 56 30 years ago. He was paralyzed from the neck down with his MS. Dr. Bernard gave him his section 56 30 years ago. Just so you know, the guy thought outside the box a long time ago. So, sickness feeds on sugar. Sickness feeds on methionine. So methionine is found in food. And so for myself, the cancer feeds on sugar. So when a cancer cell develops, it develops insulin receptors. So any fructose, glucose, or dextrose, anything like that that goes into your body, feeds it. So it doesn't have to be cancer, it feeds all sickness. So when also the cancer cell, it feeds now on methionine. Methionine is found in food, and all sickness works exactly the same way. We need methionine in our fruits and vegetables. The number is 80. So that's excellent. Now when we get sick, anything over and above that is detrimental to our health. So in red meats, here's the number. Red meat is 180 units of methionine. Dairy products is 195 units of methionine. Eggs is 240. Chicken is 480, and fish is 700. It's off the charts. So those 5 foods, for somebody that is sick, that just increase your odds by about 85%. So everybody says, well, where do you get your protein from? Well, protein comes from all your fruits and vegetables. Your fruits and vegetables have amino acids. You eat the amino acids and they turn into protein. I mean, it doesn't look like I'm suffering. I haven't had anything that has eyes now in almost 9 years. It's the healthiest I've ever been in my life. It's like the clock's been turned back 40 years. So when you ingest cannabis, it purges everything. So for myself, when I started to ingest, I went into what we call the Hexheimer reaction. That's when the body started to detox. So you detox 4 ways. You shit it out, you puke it out, you pee it out, or it comes out through your skin. If it doesn't come out, now you create secondary issues. So now you have a problem. So now this is where for us, and I believe she's also going to talk about doing coffee annas, because it's one of the best things for a quick detox that you could do. So what I basically did, and what everybody needs to do when you get sick, see, we've all been taught wrong. Everything is wrong. See, because they need to sell us stuff. They fix you, you don't come back. There's no money in healthy people. I got injured in 1990 and I visited the doctor every 30 days. And then 7 years ago, I visited him every week. And you get tired of it. And so now, I'm also one of the guys, my information is a matter of public record. So we actually took the government to court. This is why cannabis has been made available. We just won the right, every Canadian in Canada can have 4 plants.
Yay!
So we made it so when I was battling cancer, and just the same as you folks in this room for Lyme, you will never have access to pure cannabis oil because the government has already stepped in and only allow them to put 30 milligrams of cannabis oil per multi-chain triglyceride per milliliter, which means it takes 1,000 milligrams to make a gram. And I'll explain it to you. So a bottle of cannabis oil, we'll just pick the Leamington producer, runs about $125 for 900 milligrams. So that's about $125 a gram. I would have had to swallow 14 of those bottles a day. Do the math. If I would have to buy my cannabis, it would cost me $16,000 a month. My script is 40 grams a day. That's how much cannabis I consume daily, in every single form. I smoke it, I eat it, I use it topically, we use it in suppositories, I bake with it, it's in my olive oil, I put it on my salad, I bake it, I put it into capsules, I put it in my smoothie, I use it every which way I can, and what it's done, it's gave me the use of my arms back. I had no use of my arms, nothing. So what you folks need to understand, this is the safest medication there is on the planet. There is nothing safer. My dog, I was putting my dog down because he was 14, he's a lab, he couldn't walk. And it was right in the same time I was battling cancer, and everything says that every creature has this system. So I started to feed it to the dog. 6 weeks later, he was out the dog door. 10 weeks later, I'm back in the field with the dog. I got another 4.5 years out of my dog. My dog was 18.5 years old. I didn't put him down because of his hind end. I had a dog that loved thunderstorms. So I have a band, we were on Peely Island playing, and my neighbor had a dog, and that's when the tornado went through, and it was the storm of the century, and he had a stroke. So I swear to God, he's been here. So all my animals have been on cannabis since they're 6 weeks old. They're not sick. I'm giving it to them so they don't get sick. See, cannabis is preventative medicine. You don't need to be sick to use cannabis. You use it so you don't get sick. Steven, my buddy there, hasn't had flu or cold in 30 years. What's that tell you? So it treats your immune system, is what it does. And everybody here in this room that's battling, your immune system has been compromised. And this is the best thing on the planet to boost that system. And if you believe in the guy driving this big spaceship, that's what the 3 wise men brought baby Jesus, was cannabis oil, frankincense oil, and myrrh oil. That's the Holy Trinity. That's what we use. So it's been a crime against humanity. Just so you understand, the United States government has held a patent on cannabis oil, patent number 6630507, since 1967, as a neuroprotectant. Do you understand what that means? And do you folks know what psychedelic mushrooms are? All right. And they're illegal. And you know why they're illegal? They're the only thing on the planet that grows new brain cells. So the thing that grows new brain cells and the thing that protects your brain cells is illegal. Think about that. Nobody's ever told you how to even eat properly. So everybody, you need an alkaline diet. We were never intended to eat meat. That's why your shit stinks. Just because it's rotten flesh. All as I can tell you, if you eat cannabis, adjust your diet. That's the best thing you can do for your sickness. Use everything natural, nothing synthetic, And if you can't grow your own cannabis because all of the cannabis from the licensed producers has been irradiated, just so you understand. The reason that is done because they've done a really shitty job growing it. So that's how they killed the mold and the powdery mildew and killed the spider mites. I've been growing cannabis and using it now for almost 50 years. I never knew that you had to ingest it. Smoking will help. It'll help lower your blood pressure. If you have asthma, that's one of the best things that you can do is smoke a joint, use a vaporizer. If you have lung cancer, we want you to use a joint and a vaporizer because we want to get as close as we can to the sickness. So with Lyme, so you want to eat it, you want to use it topically, you want to put it in your baked goods, but you want to keep it in your system constantly. The high goes away, like I told you. I consume more cannabis in a day than what most people get for a script for the month. So everything that they've told you is false. Even right down that it destroys brain cells, we got to keep it away from the children. I would like to know where they got that study from. So when we come and say, well, here's the study, we show them what's called the ganja studies. It comes from the country of Jamaica. It's the country that's used the most cannabis for eons. So they followed pregnant mothers before, during, and after for 20 years. They had the shortest hospital stays, the healthiest babies, and the babies were 5 to 8 years more advanced than any of the other kids in the study group because they were exposed to cannabinoids in the room. So you need to understand what's happening with this plant. It's the most important food and plant on the planet, and everybody needs to learn as much as they can about this plant, because if you do, you'll just be healthy.